The rain was still clinging to her clothes when she signed her name, ink trembling as much as her hands, because that single signature meant choosing survival over pride, hunger over dignity, and one irreversible night over a lifetime of quiet suffering. In that moment, as the city lights blurred beyond the glass walls of the towering penthouse, a poor girl with empty pockets and a breaking heart stepped into the orbit of a man known only for his wealth, his coldness, and the rumors that said he had no warmth left inside him. Before the story pulls you deeper, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and unseen goodness hidden inside broken people, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel Ripple of Kindness. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. She had grown up counting coins instead of dreams. Her days were measured by overdue bills, her nights by the fear of eviction notices sliding under the door. When her mother's illness worsened and the hospital demanded payment upfront, desperation cornered her in ways morality never prepares you for. The offer came quietly through a chain of people who spoke in lowered voices, framing it as a business arrangement rather than what it truly was. One night, no strings, enough money to erase her debts and buy her mother time. She told herself she would survive it the way she had survived everything else, by closing her eyes and enduring. The man waiting for her lived at the top of the city, far above street noise and human closeness. The CEO reputation preceded him like a shadow. Brilliant, ruthless, emotionally distant, a man who ran companies with precision but avoided people with the same care. His wealth insulated him from the world, yet loneliness seeped through the cracks of his immaculate life. When she stood before him, small and pale against marble floors and steel, gray windows, there was no romance in the air, only an unspoken agreement heavy enough to suffocate. He looked at her with eyes that had learned to calculate risk, not feelings. She felt like a transaction, and he treated the night as something to be completed, not remembered. Morning came too quickly. Sunlight exposed everything she wanted to forget. She left before the city fully woke, clutching the envelope that felt heavier than gold. She told herself it was over, that she had paid a price and received what she needed. For a brief while, life improved. Her mother's treatment began, the eviction threat disappeared, and she returned to her routine of invisibility. But weeks later, her body betrayed the silence she tried to maintain. Fatigue turned into nausea, fear into certainty. The test confirmed what she had never imagined could happen from a night meant to disappear. Panic became her constant companion. A child was not part of the bargain. She considered every possible path, weighing morality against survival yet again. But when she felt the first fragile stirrings of life inside her, something shifted. The baby became more than a consequence. It became purpose. She chose to keep the child, knowing it meant raising a life with nothing but courage and borrowed strength. She never intended to tell him. The CEO belonged to a world that would crush her, and she believed her child deserved peace, not a courtroom battle or whispered scandals. Time moved forward, and fate, indifferent yet precise, brought them together again. Months later, weakened by pregnancy and working long hours at a modest job, she collapsed during a corporate charity event she was staffing. The irony of wealth surrounding her as her body failed was not lost on her. When she woke in a private hospital room, the man standing by the window was unmistakable. The CEO had funded the event, and now, unknowingly, stood near the woman carrying his child. His sharp mind noticed the details others ignored. Her face, familiar yet changed, the medical chart, the dates. Truth settled in slowly, like a storm cloud refusing to be dismissed. What followed was not anger, but shock, then a reckoning neither of them expected. He had built his life on control, yet here was something beyond contracts and strategy. For the first time in years, he felt responsibility that could not be delegated. He offered support in the only way he knew how, with money, lawyers, solutions. She resisted, not out of pride but fear. She had learned that dependence could become a cage. Their interactions were tense, layered with guilt, confusion, and an unspoken question about what love even meant to people who had survived in such different ways. Pregnancy changed her quietly, steadily. She grew stronger in ways that had nothing to do with finances. He watched from a distance at first, witnessing her resilience, her refusal to be swallowed by circumstance. Something inside him thawed as he saw how she protected life with nothing but determination. He began to show up, not as a benefactor, but as a presence. He listened, learned, and for the first time allowed vulnerability to exist alongside power. When the child was born, fragile and perfect, the world shifted. Holding his baby dismantled years of emotional armor in seconds. He saw himself not as a CEO, but as a father, responsible for more than profits and public image. For her, seeing him softened by love eased wounds she thought would never heal. Their bond did not transform into a fairy tale overnight, but it grew into something honest. Trust replaced fear, patience replaced control, and respect replaced transactions. They chose a path forward built on choice, not obligation. She returned to school, supported but not overshadowed. He redefined success, learning that warmth was not weakness. Together, they created a family shaped by hardship and healed by compassion. The night that once felt like a stain became the beginning of redemption, proof that even the most painful decisions can lead to unexpected grace. If this story has touched your heart so far, please pause for a moment and leave a comment sharing what part moved you the most. Your words mean more than you know. Near the end of this journey, as the child took first steps and laughter replaced silence, they both understood a simple truth. Kindness can grow from the coldest places. Hope can rise from desperation. And love, when chosen freely, can heal wounds money never could. If this story stirred something inside you, if it made you feel hope, sadness, or belief in second chances, please like the video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Ripple of Kindness. Your engagement keeps these stories alive and spreading.